Camera test. Hey, what's up? Hello, it's Katie Colson here. Welcome back to my channel. And now we're going to talk about the books that I want to read in August. Now, we're all very happy to hear that I am back on my reading bag. I'm on my manga bag, to be honest. Like, I'm full tilt into my manga era right now, but at least I'm not slumping out like I was in like all of July up until Summerween. And then when Summerween hit, we hit back off. Okay, like June and the beginning of July was really grinding my gears after I read House of Leaves. Like, whoo, that book. I know I've talked about it so many times, but it broke me. It broke me as a reader. So we're back in it. Now I will tell you, most of the things that I want to read are manga because I put a huge order in, or 2 or 3 orders at Right Stuff Anime. So I have recently picked up like 50 or so volumes of manga. So that is a predominant what I want to read in the month of August, as well as a couple fiction books and audiobooks. But I will say that because we are still like 4 days away from August, there are some of the books in these series of mangas that I'm going to show you that I may have already read and they will be in my July wrap up. But who's to say? I'll try to cut out the ones that commingle with that. But anyway, let's get right to it because there's literally just like stacks of books all around me. We're going to start out with the actual books, the first of which being Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro. I'm obsessed with this cover. Like, I'm actually like obsessed. This is so stunning. Like, I feel like this is my aesthetic. Am I wrong? No, I'm not. Hi, hello, Katie Colson. I am this cover. This is a chunky boy. Like, good God, this is a big book. But the audiobook, have you listened to the narrator's voice? It's like if gravelly butter meant something, it's this man's voice. So, okay, this is like a historical fantasy. So it's set in 1882 in like Victorian London, and we're following 2 kids, Charlie and Marlowe, which those are the most amazing names I've ever heard. If they were girls, those would be the hottest names I've ever heard, but I digress. They're both boys and they have these magical abilities. Charlie, because his body just repairs itself, like no matter what happens, it mends itself. And then Marlowe, who has the ability to melt or mend people's flesh. Sexy, love to see it. And they basically get conscripted into this like league of other, well, they're not kids, they're 16, but other children, kids, teens, whatever, that all have some sort of magical ability. And I'm like, okay, is this gonna be like an X-Men vibe? Like, I love like Vicious, X-Men, stuff like that, where it's a very like elemental magic or everybody has their own kind of magical ability. That is my shit. I love it. But listen, after they get conscripted into this league, there's all of a sudden this like monstrous shadow that's stalking them. And it's gonna take all of these kids coming together to save London from this monster. I mean, does that not sound perfect? The next book is So Happy For You by Celia Lasky. Now, this is a book that Kayla and Gabby both gave 5 stars. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I literally needed to own it immediately, and I want to start reading it today, but I need to wait. I need to wait until August. I need to wait because I know a lot of bunnies on my Patreon are wanting to buddy read this with me, and I am very excited about that because it is kind of like a talk about like female friendship and kind of like the good and bad things that come along with that. And I think that would just be such a good thing to read with the bunnies. So, you know, if you want to join my Patreon to talk about it with me, you totally could. But this cover is stunning. And literally after 2 5 stars from like my favorite booktubers and like my favorite book friends, signed, sealed, delivered, it's coming to my door. I am reading it. So this is about 2 best friends that they've been best friends since they were in their childhood, and it is Robin and Ellie. But ever since they've become adults, they've started to swim in different circles. That's why when Ellie asks Robin to be your maid of honor, Robin is like, why? I mean, but yeah, we've been friends since we were kids. Like, I have to. Like, it's obligatory. Like, yeah, we're girlfriends. Got it. So she's her maid of honor. But as the wedding approaches, a series of like ominous occurrences start happening. I don't know what they entail, but the word ominous was thrown around. I'm going to assume not great. Things start happening to Robin, and she starts to think or become suspicious that the entire bridal party is out to get her, including Ellie herself. And I'm like, what is going on? It feel like literally the summary makes it feel like it's like Get Out, but like with Buckhead Betties. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm so here for it. Okay, this is a 5-star prediction. And now for the Smut Salon book club pick for the month of August. This is the official one, and then So Happy For You is kind of like a secondary pick because I know it's newer and I want people to be able to access the monthly picks. So we are going to be reading Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, which also Daphne du Maurier is like such a beautiful name. Like it's so beautiful. And its cover, stunning. Hold please. I need to turn off my AC. And we're live. Okay, what we're doing in this book is we're following an unnamed protagonist who was working as a companion to this really bitter elderly woman, but one day, like in a freaking blockbuster rom-com, she is swept off her feet by this handsome widower named Maxim and is whisked away to his very isolated estate called Manderley. She has no friends there, no family, she's completely alone, and she is surrounded by the phantom in every room, by the phantom of his first wife, Rebecca. And it's very eerie. It's like, what's going on? What happened to Rebecca? And she starts to not trust her husband, and she realizes that she really doesn't know that much about him. I've heard so many amazing things about this book. I've heard so many people say that this is like the classic thriller, that this like did things for the thriller genre, and I'm so looking forward to reading it with all of you, and I so hope that we all end up loving it. And then I am very excited to finally get my hands on You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akwaeke Emezi. I know that Erin from Booked and Busy recently read this and said that it's her favorite romance of the year, probably one of her like top 3 best books of the year. And that is high praise because Erin's already read over 200 books and she's very critical and very intelligent. So like, we take everything she says, not with a grain of salt. We take it with like a freaking sand dune. Okay. So this is supposed to be about a girl named Faye, which I don't think I'm pronouncing that right, but I haven't heard the main character's name said out loud yet, so I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. It's F-E-Y-I. Sorry. So Faye is someone who lost love of her life 5 years ago, and she is just now really trying to figure out how to live again, and her best friend Joy is trying to help ease her back into the dating scene. Now, everything's going well, and actually she ends up dating the perfect man. Problem being, she is going to sabotage her own happiness before it even starts because she keeps locking eyes with the one person that she knows damn well is off limits. I love that. I love that. And basically she has to ask herself, who does she want to become and what all is she willing to sacrifice to put her grief behind her? And I know this is supposed to be like really sad. It's really beautiful. I love the cover so much. And I am so excited to read this because yet again, this is a 5-star prediction. Oh my God, I'm a fool. I forgot to look up the summary of this and I forgot to add this to my TBR, but I'm absolutely gonna be reading the new freaking T. Kingfisher book. Hello? Look at this cover. No, that wasn't good enough. Nope, it's not gonna happen. What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. I have not read the summary, so we're gonna read it together. Also, are you fucking kidding me? Stunning. Okay. When Alex Easton, a retired soldier, receives word that their childhood friend Madeline Usher is dying. Oh, wait, this is supposed to be like a retelling of The House of Usher, which I do not know the summary of that book either. Never read it, so doesn't help me. When he finds out that their childhood friend Madeline Usher is dying, they race to the ancestral home of the Ushers in the remote countryside of Mauritania. What they find there is a nightmare of fungal growths and possessed wildlife surrounding a dark pulsing lake. I'm getting Mexican Gothic vibes. Madeline sleepwalks and speaks in strange voices at night, and her brother Roderick, I love these names so much, is consumed by a mysterious malady of the nerves. Aided by a redoubtable British mycologist and a baffled American doctor, Alex must unravel the secret of the House of Usher before it consumes them all. Okay, tell me you're not intrigued. Tell me you weren't just sold. Listen, not only is it a heavy task, but they're heavy books. So they're just sitting here and I'm gonna hold up one of them because we don't have the arm strength for that, to be quite honest. But it is Monster. I am literally holding it upside down. We're keeping it in. It is Monster by Naoki Urasawa. Now, I read the first 3 in July, and honestly, I'm probably gonna read the 4th one in July too before August even starts, but I want to continue in the series and hopefully complete it, though these are like, oh my God, they're chunky and there's so many words written on each page. This is not like a normal manga that you can read super fast. Like, You have to pay attention. There's a lot of words. It reads like a book. Like, it doesn't even read necessarily like a manga. Like, it reads like a mystery thriller, and I'm obsessed. Obsessed. Also obsessed that it's a complete series. It's complete. I don't have to wait for anything. Love to see it. So this is following Tenma, who was not that little girl. He's this dude on the front there. Anyway, LOL, he is a very famous surgeon, and basically one day he has a moral dilemma of right and wrong, where a young boy is brought into the hospital with a head injury, a gunshot to the head, and then also a couple minutes after that, the mayor is brought in. But Tenma is already set to do surgery on this young boy, but the chief of the hospital is like, no, you have to work on the mayor. He's more important. And Tenma is like, no, I took a Hippocratic oath. Like, we take patients as they come in, and this little boy was first. He's gonna die. So he works on the little boy, and the mayor ends up dying. Now, that obviously causes a lot of political unrest in his career, but the big problem is that years and years later, that little boy that he saved may not be such a cupcake. And all of a sudden, there's a bunch of elderly couples, elderly childless couples, who all just start dying. Randomly? Is it random? I don't know. And Tenma is one of the only people that knows this boy's identity and can identify him. And he becomes like entrapped in this story and trying to figure out who he is and what's going on, what is he doing. And he also has a twin sister who is, there's a whole storyline with her too, okay? But listen, I'm gonna tell you, if you're not a manga reader, if you've never read manga, if you don't think it's your thing, pick these up, because not only is it a great entry point from if you like mystery thriller books and you want to get into manga, these are fantastic. This is absolutely one of the best manga I've ever read, and I am so excited to see how it all ends up, because like, what's gonna happen? This is hard. This is hard. It is a completed series, and it's 14 volumes, and like, there's a lot that goes down, okay? This looks like a lot of action. There's a lot to take in. Tokyo Ghoul by Sue Ishida. And I love this heavily dark art style. I just love it. And I can already tell you, I'm gonna love it. That's why I bought the entire freaking set, okay? 5-star prediction. Will I be able to get through all of them? Well, I'm challenging myself now, so I think yes. But this, okay, there's a very short summary on the back, and anytime I try to summarize it, I just end up saying what's on the back, so let me just read it to you. It says, ghouls live among us, the same as normal people in every way, except their craving is for human flesh. Now we follow our main character, Kaneki, who's very shy, and he's thrilled to be going on a date with this really beautiful girl, but all she's interested in is his body. Or eating it, that is, because she's a ghoul. And in some sort of like morally dubious rescue attempt, Kaneki gets transformed into the first ever half human, half ghoul hybrid, and he must survive ghoul turf wars, learn more about ghoul society, and master his new powers. And like, everybody's telling me that I'm gonna love this, and I think you are absolutely right. I am so excited. I'm so excited to read this, and then I'm gonna watch the anime. I'm gonna have my full high school Katie moment, okay? Now, when I was in high school, I read the first 3 volumes of this, but these are the perfect editions, or the black editions. So this is volume 1 and 2, and then we have 3 and 4, 5 and 6, and I do not have the black editions of 4, 5, and 6 yet, but I'm going to get my hands on them as soon as humanly possible, and I'm trying to wait to start this until I have the whole set, but like, it's calling me. Like, do you see this? It's stunning. I'm obsessed. Like, this is the perfect concept for me. I love psychological thrillers, and that's what this is, with enough horror dashed in to seriously keep you intrigued. So if you somehow don't know what this is about, let me inform you, because you're going to be adding this to cart literally immediately. We are following Light Yagami, and he is an ace student. He's super intelligent, but he's so intelligent that he's super bored at school because they just can't keep up with him. And one day he walks and stumbles upon a notebook that was dropped by a Shinigami, or a death god. Now what he discovers is that by writing a human's name into this notebook, that person will die. And you can kind of manipulate how they'll die and when they'll die based on this notebook. So he decides this notebook has fallen into the perfect hands, and he's gonna use it to rid the world of what he deems as evil. Now, the question that comes up is, can you label yourself as right or good if you're committing the same crime that you're condemning other people for? There comes in our other character, L, who is a special like agent for this police force that is hunting down and trying to figure out Light's true identity and put a stop to him. Now, Light, being very intelligent, his father is a police officer, and he uses that to kind of wheedle his way in to Elle's side and say, hey, I can help you. Like, my dad's a police officer. I'm super smart. Like, I'll aid you in finding this guy. But really, he just wants to be one step ahead of what he considers to be his enemy right now, which is the police, because he thinks, he's a god. He can make these decisions. How is there only 6 of these? Like, I don't understand. I fucking love them. And I haven't read them in so long. And I'm telling you right now, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. This is not just a 5-star prediction. This is a 5-star guarantee. Okay, these next 2 kind of sets of manga, I'm not totally sure if I'm going to read this month. And if I do, it's because I'm going to buy the entire freaking set. First of which is Jujutsu Kaisen. So I've read the first one, and honestly, it is too difficult to explain what this is about, so I'm just going to read this 3-sentence thing on the back that vaguely tells you what it's about. It says, in a world where cursed spirits feed on unsuspecting humans, fragments of the legendary and feared demon Ryomen Sukuna have been lost and scattered about. And when they say fragments, they literally mean his body. His body, pieces of his body have been scattered around. Should any demon consume Sukuna's body parts, literally eat parts of him? Yep. The power they gain could destroy the world as we know it. Fortunately, there exists a mysterious school of jujutsu sorcerers who exist to protect the precarious existence of the living from the supernatural. Now, the reason I'm not sure if I'm going to read these this month is because this is still coming out, and that scares me. If there's no ending, then I'm oh my God, I'm going to get all the way up to I think it's volume 17 that's out, and then have to stop and wait 6 months to a year? I'm too scared for that. The Promised Neverland. Now, this is one I own 3 volumes of, and I just bought the first 3 to dip my toes in and see if I liked it, because this is a complete series. And now that Steph told me that this is a YA horror and that she read the first 3 and immediately wanted to buy the rest, now I'm intrigued. Now I absolutely have to read them this month. So this, I'm not sure how it's a horror. It basically is just talking about how there are these 3 of the brightest kids that grow up at Grace Field House Orphanage, and everything's fine and dandy and cute and quaint and great, except then they start to discover that it says one day though, they uncover the dark truth of the outside world they are forbidden from seeing. Now, I don't know how this is a horror, but literally Steph was I went into it thinking it was just a fantasy and was absolutely scared. And I was bitch, say less. Oh my God, I completely forgot a physical book that I want to read, and I'm going to tack it on now, and that's Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. This one, I love the feeling of this book so much, and I've heard nothing but absolutely stellar reviews for this, and even the people that were overly hyped for it still gave it a 3.5 or a 4-star. That's amazing, okay? I don't know if this is a standalone, because I want to say there's a second book coming out, but I don't know if it's just by him or if it's going to be a sequel to this or companion. I don't know, because this is the self-published version, but I think Tor or somebody just picked this up, and that's why there was a 2-book deal. Anyway, we're basically following Viv, who is an orc, but also a retired warrior. And in her retirement, she decides that she wants to go and retire to the town of Thune. And in Thune, there is no coffee. No one's ever heard of coffee. And Viv is what are you talking about? I can't live without it. So she plans to open up the first ever coffee shop in this town. Now, the people that live there are what is this? Oh my God, you're a wizard? How did you do this? Oh my God. And then all the pastries that Viv is making, they're blown away. They're what is this? Is this witchcraft? What is this black magic? So that's well and cute and all, but not everything is a piece of cake, because there are a lot of frenemies that come out of the woodwork from Viv's past that are trying to tear her down. So in order to maintain her peace and quiet in her retirement, she has to befriend and create these allies of these friends in this town to help her not remain anonymous, but in order to keep her sanity and the town's sanity, she has to befriend the townspeople. And I'm literally so excited. This is supposed to be a high, cozy fantasy, and I've never read one of those before, but I'm pumped. Okay, these are all the books that I want to read in the month of August. Again, I'm very sorry if I've already read a couple of them, and I took them out of this because I put them in my July wrap up, but listen, we have makeup on and we're filming the damn video today, okay? Take what you can get, okay? But anyway, I hope that you're here for my manga era. If you've gotten this far into my TBR video, 1, thank you so much. And 2, leave the apple emoji for, where are you? Death Note, for Ryuk. If you know, you know. But leave the apple emoji if you've gotten this far. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you have gotten this far, clearly you like it here and we love having you. So you can hit subscribe if you so choose. But I am watching. I am watching you. Okay. And anyway, if you want to follow me on Patreon, it is going to be linked down below, as well as a link to my Goodreads and Instagram. And all of that being said, I hope you have an amazing day, evening, night, dusk, dawn, whatever it is you're having right now, and whatever part of the world you are currently having it in. And I will see you in a video coming very soon. Bye.